What is up, guys? It's the Sound Alchemist here with
Gersh 1.
and once again we're back at it to answer more questions in another For the Greater.
This is a video series where we answer the questions left by you, the viewer. If you have a question for us, comment down below. Put a question in front of your question because we get those questions first.
That is what Alexander Salas has said, done, and his question is, what are the best armies now for someone just starting in the new year?
Space Marines!
Yeah, you can never go wrong with going Space Marines, even though their codex seems to be like probably one of the oldest ones.
Yeah, but don't you feel like with the Space Marines, because they're so middle ground, like they're good at pretty much everything?
Yeah, you can build any type of list if you want something that's more close combat-y, more psychic heavy. Like you could do anything. You don't even have to play them as like a chapter. You could do create your own chapter and put the rules however you want. You just have a lot of versatility when it comes to the Space Marine. You probably have the most options out of any army out there, and no matter what, you're going to get new information, new rules, new updates, more so than any other army.
Now, if you're an existing player and you want to start a new army this year, what I would recommend is starting an army that had that GW paid a lot of attention to. It's probably Orcs.
Yes, the Orcs just got a huge release.
So right now, the reason that I kind of don't want to play Orcs is because I know that my boys are old. So it's the same thing with the Primaris feeling, where I'm playing with this old army now, and if I had the new boys, if I had the Beast Naga boys and stuff like that, that'd be completely different. So if I was starting fresh, picking these models up would be awesome.
Yeah.
So my recommendation would be take advantage of the fact that it's new and buy these new models, because it does feel like a completely different army or new army.
Yeah, for sure. Because you can play a whole army of completely brand new models that old Orc players won't even have any of.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to even think that, because for the longest time, the Orcs, they do get pretty good releases, new models every now and then, but then out of nowhere they just said, here, everything we've got for the Orcs all at once.
Yeah.
New codex, new models, new line, tougher boys, like the basic troop. They really got all their eggs in one basket last year.
Yeah. And if you really want to explore, if you really want to wait a little bit, Eldar.
Yes.
Craft World.
Supposedly the Eldar are getting what the Orcs got last year this year. New models. No longer, I think they said, no longer do you have to play with your old metal models. Everything that was metal before will be getting plastic. So it's another interesting thing. And rumor has it that the avatar of Cain will finally be worthwhile.
Finally, because the model was this big. It was tiny.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be this big badass.
Yeah, so new model for the avatar, new rules. It's good. It's good stuff. If you're just starting 40K, now's a really great time to start.
Right.
But if you want an opinion, my opinion is always pick up the core rule book, find an army that you like to play, find the look, the aesthetic of it, and then go with that.
Yeah.
Because we could say, oh yeah, do Orcs, do Eldar, they're getting new models. But if you don't like them, if you don't like how they play, their play style, you're not going to want to collect and you're not going to want to play.
Right. Next question comes from Icono. Bonjour, les gars. I think it's les garçons. I don't know. If you had the power to save 2 legions from the heresy, which ones would you choose and why?
Hands down, the Thousand Sons. My first one, because they're just really cool aesthetically, and it'd be really awesome to have Magnus sitting on the throne intended for what he was supposed to, and to see how that would have affected the whole aspect of 40K. Because originally they had the whole Council of Nicaea, and that was no psychers, but then you see how strong a psycher actually is, and if they never went rogue or to chaos, then we could see how much that would change, maybe allow psychers to prosper more and that type of thing. So definitely the Thousand Sons. And the second one, I don't think it would happen, but it'd be pretty cool to see how the World Eaters would do as loyalists.
Yeah. World Eaters for me, just because old school World Eaters looked badass, the blue and white. And then also just the concept of chain axes.
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
Right. Where it's these people should be chaos, but they're not.
Yeah. Next question.
This one is by Angel Reyes. So I'm from Honduras, and our signature food is tamales. It's the best the world can offer. So, what's the best thing to eat in the 41st millennium? And for that matter, what's the worst food in 40K?
So anything that has grox in it, like grox is just basically a lizard like it's a creature that can grow pretty much on any planet, and humanity has taken them and then just put them all over the place on these agri worlds where they just they raise them and then they sell them off for meat. So grox meat is probably the most standard thing.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure there's like different, just like with beef with us. Like, you can go to a really nice restaurant and pay like $100 for a piece of meat, the Wagyu steak or whatever. Or you could just go to McDonald's for like $1 and get a cheeseburger with beef patty. Mm-hmm. So, grox.
Right.
That's it.
Probably the worst food is probably just like any gruel they would give you at like a manufactorum or any type of like or not agri world, but like factory world.
Yep.
Because it doesn't taste like anything. It's just like the bare minimum, like minerals and vitamins that you need to survive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Also, I wonder if there's a difference between tamales from Honduras and tamales from Mexico.
Yeah, I think there is.
I know, like, the ones that, because I'm from Jalisco and my wife is from Durango. Her tamales are spicier than the ones that I'm used to. Mm-hmm. So even just like small regions or small states within Mexico, the food is different.
Yeah. Because for the longest time, I didn't even know you could have like tamales with like cheese inside of them. Yeah. I'm like, what?
Well, me and my daddy got really experimental last time we made tamales together, which was a while back. I put hot Cheetos in my tamales, and no, it did not taste good.
Yeah.
You get none of the hot Cheeto flavor.
Have you had tamales con rajas?
Yes, I like those.
Those are pretty good.
Yeah. Next question.
This one's by Carrie Vogt. Has Fabulous Bill or Bella Calise tried cloning the Emperor? Have they also tried cloning Bridget B? So Belisarius does dabble with cloning, but it's more so cloning himself. Like creating like artificial bodies so that he could tinker and do more technology instead of just being contained to one body. Fabius Bile, he's the one that clones other things. He's cloned Primarchs before.
All of them?
Yeah, pretty much. So it depends on how you want to look at things. But yeah, they both dabble with cloning. And unfortunately, I don't think either one of them has cloned Bridget B. Her DNA signature has been lost to Terra.
Yeah, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. This next question comes from Timothy Armstrong. What is the largest army you can put together point-wise in Warhammer 40K? The sky's the limit.
Yeah.
You can go as high as you can. Mini Wargaming. I remember back when I used to watch that channel religiously. They did a huge like apocalypse battle, and I remember it was like a U-shaped table, and there were so many players. I think it was like Xenos versus the Imperium.
Yeah,
and that was a huge army, multiple players. It was awesome.
You had Titans shooting from one table to another table and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, I think it gets really convoluted. And just to like transfer that many minis, putting them on a table and hoping nothing breaks and everything goes good is just like a huge hassle in and of itself.
And then there's also the limit of just like if it's something just with you, there's also the limit of space within a 4x6 table. Mm-hmm. So if you can't put all of your miniatures during the deployment zone on the table, then everything else goes in reserve.
Yeah.
So technically, like, you could play a huge army, fill up the entire starting point with minis, and then just slowly like bring them in little by little.
Mm-hmm. And if your army is so huge, if you can't bring them in by like turn 5, then
what's the point?
Yeah.
So it's one of those. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like the I think the highest points I've ever played is 4,000.
Yeah, I think that's the one that you played with
the Necron player.
Yeah,
it was Necrons versus Orcs. I lost because I brought a Stampa with me, and the Stampa was like 1,000 points.
Jeez.
And it did nothing. It died. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, when you're playing that high of a point value, honestly, whoever goes first has a huge advantage because they have all this many points worth of attacks and shots and stuff that is going to dwindle you down that you can't have as much to hit back. So it really is a game of who goes first.
Yeah, and he was really strategic too. He put all of his scarabs in front of my line of orcs. So like I charged, but I charged into scarabs. So
Yeah.
like that didn't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was able just to pick me off with like shooting and stuff like that because scarabs just pulled back or fell back, and then I got shot up.
That is pretty smart.
But yeah, next question.
This one is by Hooded Top. Why have they not made a film series about the Emperor and his rise to the Golden Throne? It seems like the best place to start.
I like that concept too. The Unification Wars. The Unification Wars would be probably the most like Game of Thrones like concept because there was so many techno-barbarian warlords. The Emperor didn't just like conquer every single one. He tried diplomacy. So it would definitely be like a series of what is it called? Like drama,
Yeah,
intrigues, things like that.
right. Little politics and stuff like that. But again, I feel like too many people are going to be like, "Oh, we want Space Marines. We don't want to watch this." It's like, chill. It'll get there. Maybe have like 2 seasons of that, and the 3rd season introduce Space Marines, or because I think Thunder Warriors should be enough of like that Space Marine feel to like keep people who are really wanting to see Space Marines tied up till then.
Yeah. This next question comes from Dean M, and it's not a question. He says, Henry Cavill is a legit player. Dude missed a call when he was cast for Superman because he was too busy raiding in World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft is not 40K. The one thing that, like, when I talk to friends about 40K who are not into 40K is they make that connection. Like, oh, yeah, like, you're into nerdy stuff. They'll be like, okay, so 40K is like you're into like video games and stuff like that. It's like, no, it's a completely different enjoyment that you get out of collecting and playing 40K compared to like video games.
Yeah.
Video games is a quick like you get the what is it called, like that reward thing, you get it right away because you're playing right away. With 40K, there is a pile of shame that proves that like the reward is not quick. The reward is years upon years. So yeah, when people say that, it's just kind of like video games and tabletop games are not the same thing. It's not the same hobby.
Right, and I feel like reward for 40K players comes in many different ways. Some people feel good when they've assembled their first mini, when they've painted their first mini, when they've actually finished an army, when they've actually played a game and won. So it's like there's different stages to this reward for 40K.
Yeah.
So.
But I respect your opinion. Next question.
James Gibbs says, has anybody actually ever fought a Chaos God directly? Not an avatar or a demon prince, but the actual god.
Yeah, there's a demon that fought Khorne, and Khorne flicked him through the realm or through the Immaterium. And he traveled for how long? Like
I think it was like a week.
Of just like traveling through space and time. How? I don't know.
Yeah, when there's no space or time in 40K or in the Immaterium.
There's been more descriptions of Khorne fighting, like physically, like him fighting, than anybody else. Because he also slammed down his great sword or axe or something, and it tore the fabric of the Immaterium.
Yeah. But actual, like, this god went into real space and fought against somebody that's never happened.
No.
Yeah. And you are kind of right where it's like, technically the gods are always fighting because lesser demons and greater demons are made from the god. It's like, yeah, you're right. But the god himself, like, directly has never fought anybody. Because I wouldn't even call that a fight when he flicked the Bloodthirster.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's just like him coming up to him. Yeah, you're right. It's not really a fight. Angel Amaro, this is also not a question, but this is interesting. Yo, Jeremy, I don't think Portillos is going mainstream because there's only 2 in all of California. The one on OC, where I'm from, and Riverside. Portillos is in California. That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought it was just a Midwest thing.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. The big one says, visually and aesthetically looking at, would you rather see balls hanging lower than a dick or a dick hanging lower than balls?
I think based on the statue, like the Roman statues, that's actually a good one.
No, because I feel like most statues and like medical pictures always have the balls hanging lower than the dick.
And that's the way it should be. Not to what is it called?
Body shame?
Yeah, not to body shame or to like be what's the word? Homophobic. Not to be homophobic, but if the balls are bigger than well, how does it go? If the balls are lower, then that means it's just a guy standing. Nothing sexual about it. But if it's the other way around, that's an erection. You're watching. That's just porn. That's gay, bro.
I think I understand, but I don't.
Yeah, balls hang lower, for sure.
I think it depends where you live. Because what if you live in like Antarctica? Then it's cold, so it's like.
That's true, but why you're naked in the first place if you're in Antarctica?
That is true.
Next question.
This one is by Kriegsman Alfarius. If you had to cast the heresy, who would you have playing your favorite Primarchs? We get this question a lot. And I feel like we've been getting like the whole movie and 40K series questions over and over in the last couple of weeks.
I think I can't do all of them.
Yeah.
But I think what's the Green Goblin's name?
Willem Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe would make a really good the Night Hunter. What's his name?
Conrad Kurz.
Conrad Kurz, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would be really good just because that sad, like mildly deranged type of mentality that he had transfers over to him as an actor and being able to portray that role of him just being torn, knowing that his father's gonna kill him.
Yeah. With the like visions and stuff that he gets.
Yeah, so I like that one.
It's hard to pick actors to play these guys because it's like, it's to me it's always very difficult to separate the actor himself from the role. Like when I see this actor, he's always going to be typecasted as like, oh no, that's this guy. So it's hard to kind of transfer that over to 40. The villain from the Kick-Ass movie, the bald guy. He was he's been in a lot of stuff. He was also the villain in Shazam.
I don't watch Shazam.
Did you watch Cruella?
Yeah.
The bald guy that ends up like helping her at the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like I feel like he could be like a good Lorgar.
Yeah. He's
his name Robert Strong.
That guy, right?
Mark Strong. Mark Strong. Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a really good Lorgar. Yeah,
no,
I see it.
Yeah, I'm trying to picture somebody for Gilliman.
You know what's funny? He looks like the Horus Heresy model.
Oh yeah,
looks like him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. And then what were you saying?
I was gonna say I'm trying to picture like Gilliman and Horus because I feel like those two are pretty like pivotal in the story, so they should have somebody. Mm-hmm. I was gonna say like Russell Crowe for Gilliman, but I feel like he's too old.
He would be really good for Rogel
Yeah.
Because doesn't he have a beard at some point?
Dorn?
Or is that just like, some fan art?
I've seen fan art of it.
Yeah.
I feel like most Marines don't have beards or like facial hair. Unless it's like the White Scars.
Or the Fenrizines, what are they called?
Oh yeah. The Space Wolves.
Yeah. But yeah.
Yeah. Let us know if you guys have any like really good spot on picks.
Yeah.
We always go with Danny DeVito or Gilbert Gottfried for the Emperor.
Yeah, Gilbert Gottfried would probably be a really good Emperor. The more that, like, I've watched documentaries on him and stuff like that, he just fulfills that role of, like, humanity's savior.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Danny DeVito's a little, like, crazy. Last question.
This one's between Savio Rebellio. If there was a 4-way battle between the forces of chaos where each team had the same number of forces, for example, 1 greater demon, 5 lesser demons, 20 foot soldiers, who would win?
It would be a never-ending wheel thing, because that's what's happening now.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Sometimes Nurgle's on top, sometimes Slanesh is on top. It's just a whole power struggle that never ends.
And it would be up to the person telling the story to say who the winner would be, and that's subjective. So I guess the real answer, or the real question is, who's your favorite Chaos God? And I think we would probably both end up going like Tzeentch. Because like, that usually tends to be our favorite, right?
Yeah. However, thinking about it, I don't know, I might go Khorne on this one.
Oh.
Because I feel like if they're fighting, it's going to be more close combat. And Khorne's more of like the aggressive.
I think Nurgle would beat Khorne. But then again, see, like that goes back to that whole, like, it's just...
And it's like, well, no, because Tzeentch would play it smart and he'd let them go at it and then blast them with like psychic stuff. So see, it's never ending.
And then it's like, oh, well, Khorne will focus in on Slanesh because Slanesh and Khorne hate each other. But then it's like, wow.
Yeah, see? There is no right or wrong answer.
Yeah. And those were the questions for today. If you guys have more questions for us, please comment down below. Thank you guys so much for listening, and we'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah, keep those questions coming. This has been The Sound Alchemist.
Gershwan.
And we are out.
Always used to put my freedom first in any situation.